At some point we just made a decision that we wanted to try.
You just kept hassling me.
At some point I made a decision that we should start trying for children, and he acquiesced somehow.
Thank you. That's pretty much how it went, right?
We had Kai, and then quicker than we had anticipated, we had a second son, Yasha. And by then we had realized that Kai's trajectory was going to be different from most children, and that we were dealing with some sort of a disability. So I decided I would have my tubes tied, because I felt that I wasn't going to have any more children. And then to our surprise, I was starting to feel unwell and tired. And it turned out that the procedure hadn't worked, and along came Bodhi. We were offered a termination because we knew we had a child with a genetic disability, and I had done everything not to get pregnant. We actually said to the obstetrician, no, this child clearly wants to be here and we'll roll with it. And literally rolling is what we had done ever since, because Bodhi was born with the same disability as Kai and was a wheelchair user. But I think that story of how he was born was quite important, because it typified his personality. He wanted to be here. He had things to do here. And he let the world know that he was around. He was not a little wallflower.
I think where Bodhi was out and proud and very loud, Kai, like I remember early on, people coming up and saying, oh, that's an old soul.
When we were given the original diagnosis, we were told it was HSP, which is hereditary spastic paraplegia, which is basically a bit of a wastebasket category. It means it's not cerebral palsy, but it looks very much like it. And there are many, many genes that can lead to HSP. Some of them are degenerative and some of them are not. I guess it became obvious that Kai was dying. And then so with Bodhi knowing that it was the same condition, we knew that the same thing was going to happen. And Bodhi knew that as well.
Kai was 17 and Bodhi made it to 18, so that was on his bucket list, making it to his 18th birthday, and we were all very pleased that he made it.
We had a child die with very little support, and then we had a Bodhi die with the support from the local palliative care team and AYAH, and the difference was so stark.
This place is absolutely targeted and I think nailed teenagers and young adults who are dying, and giving them a whole range of things that make that as good as possible a time.
The Adolescent and Young Adult Hospice here is the first facility of its kind in Australia to be built specifically for adolescents and young adults. Our ultimate goal is to improve their health outcomes as much as we possibly can, and also improve the quality of their lives as much as we possibly can. The challenges that these young people face have a greater complexity than those at either end of the spectrum. So I think it's very important that we provide an environment that's age appropriate for them. It is an amazing honour and a privilege that we have for these families to take us into their lives at such a difficult time, and to be able to walk with them during that journey at the end of life.
Bodhi had 10 items on his bucket lists. Probably the most challenging was being transgender. Bodhi really wanted to go to the Mardi Gras, but he needs quite high doses of medication. How are we going to do that? So we sat down with the doctor and we had come up with a plan. He loved it. He was entirely able to enjoy it. He was doing donuts in front of the crowd who were, cheering him on. It was the best time for him. And if AYAH hadn't been there and hadn't been so, willing to think outside the box in how do we make this happen, he wouldn't have had that experience. And it was one of the highlights of his life.
What we want to do and what we need to do is make sure that there aren't young people in New South Wales experiencing Kai's death. What we need to do is make sure that every young person who dies going forward has a Bodhi experience.
You don't know what life holds for you or the young person in your life, and you may be needing this service one day. And I hope that you never will, but if you do need this service, know that it's here and that it's amazing.